Hey, what's up everyone? I wanted to take the time today to dive into the topic of identity work. Who am I? So, understanding identity is something so crucial and so super important, because if you keep wondering and if you keep asking yourself, why am I still circling in the same loops? Why do I keep, starting a new project, really get into it, motivate myself, start working, it goes well, and then all of a sudden something happens, I start self-sabotaging, I start sabotaging my own progress and success, and I loop back to the beginning where I am. Or if you're struggling financially and you don't know why you don't get out of this loop, this video here today might be for you, because identity is everything. People such as Jordan B. Peterson, Carl Gustav Jung, but as well Tony Robbins are figures that have been bringing up the topic of identity over and over and over again over the past 50, 60 years, even with in the case of Carl Jung. The identity, the version of you that is existing right now, is a collective accumulation of experiences or traumas, belief systems, stories that have been shaped through your environment and through the stories that have been given to you. Let me explain. You are who you are due to the environment that you have been brought up in. If you got born into an environment and to a socioeconomic background where safety, security, great communication, great attention to details, and a lot of care and love have been present, you as from an infant stage onwards, learned that life and the world around you is a safe place. So your nervous system, as it has been growing and developing itself from an infant stage on, learned that the environment that you're living in is safe. You can work and you can grow in a normal manner. So the nervous system is your regulating organ, your regulating body in your physiology that is being controlled through the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve basically activates or has the power to activate two different systems. System number one is the sympathetic nervous system. That is your fight-flight response system. So the system that is needed and necessary for your survival. So if you get into a situation of danger, that system activates, adrenaline shoots through your body, and all of a sudden you're ready to either freeze in the sight of danger, either flight, run away if necessary, or fight for your survival, right? That's the one system that is necessary for your body to survive, because your brain and your body's main function and main goal is replicate and survive as long as possible. The other system is called the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest response. So this system gets activated once you're in a safe and secure environment where there's no dangers around. And like I've explained, if you grow up in an environment that is safe, secure, and where all of your needs are being met, it can learn to rest and digest and develop normally. Why is this important? Very simply. The environment that you grow up in determines partly who you become and who you think you become. Why? Because if you grow up in a family constellation and system where your parents live and experience a happy marriage, they communicate well, they listen and act according to your needs as an infant and as a child, you grow up safe. You grow up with the belief system that the world is fine and the world is well. Maybe they even feed you positive affirmations and positive talks and thoughts on a daily basis, where they tell you you are good enough, you are strong enough, you can do this, you're capable of doing this, right? Your identity is something fluid that keeps on reiterating and rebuilding itself. So it's kind of like layers of an onion that build on top of each other. The environment that you grow up in determines the main core layers of your onion, the core. If your core is being created through a safe environment, the other layers build up on this core foundational expression and feeling of safety. That is your core emotion, that is your core expression of who you are. If you now grow up in an environment, which most of us do, where one of the two don't really work, either your parents are not in a happy relationship themselves, they don't communicate well, they kind of neglect you in a certain way, they don't give you the love that you need, the attention that you need, they don't act in accordance to your needs as a child, then you get the impression that the world around you is unsafe, unsecure, that you have to constantly be in a state of survival, be in a state of expression. That's why babies scream, they cry, they get angry and frustrated, because that anger and frustration and sadness and crying is maybe just a survival response in order to get the attention needed for your parents to act upon the needs that you are trying to express but you can't put into words. So already understanding that environment takes a huge role in identity work is key in understanding who you are today. Because if you're being raised in an environment where these parameters are not being met, your parents don't give you the love and affection, they don't love each other the way that a happy relationship would maybe present, then your idea of the world is shaped by the experiences that you make early on. If you now add in your development as a child, as an infant, as a small kid, as a, first starting to go to school, then maybe starting to get into your teenage years, if the experiences and the environment that you are being put in, if the environment is safe, your nervous system learns how to regulate and learns how to express itself in a healthy manner, and it doesn't need to use hormones such as hormones such as adrenaline too much, or cortisol, in order to regulate your mood and your feeling and experience of yourself. Experiences and traumas are very important because they shape the way that you start to look at yourself. If you then, like I said, go through a childhood or an infancy where your parents are, children themselves, they don't learn how to love themselves. They never learn how to love themselves because their parents and their parents taught them, or basically didn't give them the love and affection that they needed. How can you expect them to give you, as a child, the love and affection that you need? So the way that how you are is most of the time not your fault. It is the fault it is because of how you have been raised, how your parents have been raised, and their parents, their parents' parents. So the topic of identity is already becoming really complex here, because most of the time you are not who you are because of your own actions, but because of the actions and experiences that have been passed through you. Trauma that has been stored and that has been given onto you through your environment, through your parents, through your family. So wow, now at this point, let's take a break, right? Because you're now, let's say 30, 35, 25, 40 years old, and you're hearing this for the first time. You're like, okay, but that's great. So how does this help me? How can I actually then shape or change who I am? How can I take back control of the things that have been given to me? So at this point, I want to make clear that identity is something that is constantly and ever evolving. So it is not important. It is important what happened to you, but it is even more important what you make out of yourself right now. Neuroscience has discovered that your brain can't differentiate the difference between a thought and reality. So whatever you feed your brain and start to believe really thoroughly, your brain can't differentiate between reality and just a mere thought or imagination. So with this being said, you can control your life and you can start to amend or bend your life depending upon the thoughts and the images, the belief systems that you implement today. It takes time to rewrite an old system, because same as your brain functions as a supercomputer, as a program, as software or hardware, it only does what it knows best to do, and that is repeat, predictability, adjust, repeat. So your brain likes to do what is predictable. It loves predictability because that's how it can adjust its system the best way to function. New ways, new forms, new ideas, new thought constructs are new information. They are seen or deemed to be dangerous because the system doesn't know how to work it properly. So it likes to revert back to what it knows because it can predict the outcome of it much easier, and it can repeat that system much easier. So let's take a look again at experiences and traumas. the things that happen through you. Let's say you start going to school, or your parents didn't give you the love and affection that you needed. They started telling you, oh, why do you keep failing? Why can't you shoot the ball properly? You're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that. They're not meeting you at the level of the needs that you require to feel healthy and to feel well in the environment that you're in. So you start through these experiences, being bullied in school, a parent's divorce, all of these things as a child we do not understand, because we only see the world through our eyes. And we see that mommy and daddy loved each other before I was there, and now since I'm there, they're starting to have more fights. So we internalize the external world through the lens and the filters that we can perceive as a child. And the only thing that we can perceive is that, well, because I am there, this has happened. We can't really rationalize the entire construct around, so we don't understand that mommy and daddy have always been fighting. They have maybe never been communicating properly. We only see that because of me, they are fighting. Because of me, they are separating. Because since I am here in this classroom in school, before everything was probably fine, but since I am here, other people don't feel well. Maybe this guy wants to bully me. Maybe I am the wrong one here in class. Maybe I don't belong to this class. Because apparently, I imagine most other classes, they are doing fine. But since I am in this classroom right now, for some reason, like this guy doesn't like me. So I must be the problem. Let it be your first girlfriend that leaves you in school, right? She left me. Well, she probably left me because I'm not good enough. Not because her parents decided to move to another country, or because it was, I don't know, just a playground relationship in the first place. But no. I am the problem. We make everything about us. And this story that we then write of ourselves, that we are the problem, that we are not good enough, that our parents maybe say, you are not good enough. Why do you keep failing? Why? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? This experience, these thoughts, this belief that has been given and imposed onto us creates a belief system that we are now starting to internalize. We start to act according to this belief system. And this belief system, these constant reiterations of problems, traumas, and experiences that we go through our entire life, our entire childhood and adulthood, keep enforcing a story that we start to tell ourselves. Your story is the fourth part of identity, and it's probably the most important, because the story that you tell yourself, that you are not good enough, that you are not worthy enough, that you are not worthy, or that you're not good enough to be successful, that you're not good enough for a proper relationship, this story is a story that has been given to you, that has been passed on through you. It is a story that you start telling yourself, but inevitably it is because of not really being able to understand the circumstances that create this belief. Let me repeat that. Your story gets created through not understanding the circumstances that create the belief system in the first place. Because as we believe that it's our fault, we are the reason, we are the problem, not our parents that don't know how to communicate, not our parents that never learned how proper communication, healthy communication works, that how commitment works, not the school bully that maybe has a really tough childhood himself, and his parents probably, he goes through physical abuse at home or never gets the love either, and he somehow needs to express his anger onto someone to feel something. No, it's not them, it's us. Or maybe because of that girl that maybe only needed someone to hold on to, someone that gives her the attention and the love that she never received from her parents. She then found someone who could give her more attention, and she left you. Well, again, it's not about the girl, it's about me. I am not good enough. These circumstances create a story that we keep telling ourselves. And this story lives on within us, within our identity, within the foundational core of our identity, until the moment today. And this is the reason, because 65% of us operate most of our days in our conscious mind. 65% of us work in the conscious mind, just in the present mind, constantly rationalizing problems. 35% of our processes are happening in the subconscious mind, are operating in the subconscious mind on a daily basis. What is interesting to know is that 65% of our day we spend in our conscious mind, 35% of our day we spend in our subconscious mind. If we now look at all of our processes that are happening at the same time within us simultaneously, our heart pumping blood and nurturing our organs, our lungs kind of cleaning and cleansing the oxygen that they're taking on, 95% of all our processes, all of our existence is happening on a subconscious level. And only 5% is happening on subconscious. And 5% is only happening on the subconscious level. Why do I tell you this? Why is this important? Because if you know that 95% of all processes are happening subconsciously, the story that you tell yourself, you don't repeat in your brain on a daily basis. You don't go around your day and saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I suck, I'm not loved, nobody wants me, I'm worthless, right? You don't go around doing this. This belief system and this story has been imprinted into your subconscious mind because you've repeated it and you've got so many confirmations through the different experiences that you've been having that these impressions have been imprinted onto your subconscious mind, and it's a program that is happening in the back. Now every time, let's say now you're 30 years old, right? You're a grown-up man, you're a grown-up woman, you go through life, and let's say at work, there is this new colleague that gives you a certain look or that makes a joke. And now all of a sudden other colleagues laugh about that joke, but that joke was actually about you. So it was not really a nice joke, but it was maybe not meant in a bad way. It was just a humorous way of, picking something. Everything you see within that situation, within that experience, is your story being reconfirmed because of a trauma and experience that happened in the past, in an unsafe environment that taught you how not to feel regulated, that start triggering your belief system. And everything you hear within that story is, well, they now as well say it. I am not good enough. Okay, I get it, right? All of these processes are happening subconsciously. Now, what do we take out of that? We take out of that we are being controlled by the stories and by the belief systems that have been given to us and through other people to us. If we now want to take control of our life, if we now want to stop this self-sabotaging cycle. Self-sabotage is another video in and of itself, how it works and why self-sabotage is actually based around this system, this story, these traumas and experiences that you've been having throughout your life. If you want to stop this self-sabotaging circle and actually take control back of your life, if you want to start experiencing a safe and secure environment, a safe and secure nervous system. If you really want to start taking self-leadership upon your life and become, again, in control of your story, rewrite that story with whatever you want from your life. Let it be financial success. Let it be a healthy relationship. Let it be a healthy family constellation. Let it be, a healthy career or goals that you want to just pursue, or just happiness in and of itself. Then identity work is really what you have to be focusing on, because identity is everything. If you look at your life and you don't understand why you're not succeeding and why things are not working out your way, you maybe now have a little bit more of a structure of why things are happening the way that they are. It is not out of your control. It is actually logical. It's rational, and you can break it down. And by acknowledging this, by acknowledging the different parts, you're already solving the equation halfway. The other half is taking action, rewriting your story, re-imprinting a new story, a new belief system into your current one, and keep repeating that new belief system and that new story until it becomes common sense for your brain, and it knows that the outcome of this new belief system and this new story will bring us more, will help us feel more secure. We can predict what is happening because we've repeated it so many times, and all of a sudden your life will start to shift. So if this video brought you any type of value and you like the information that you've been listening, I will put out more information or more videos on identity work on this channel. Feel free to subscribe, feel free to like this video, comment, send it to a friend, whatever you want it to be. But make sure to start taking identity seriously, and this is how you can achieve anything in life and start living the life of your dreams. So with this being said, it's your identity coach, Tim. Peace out.